So first of all, everyone, thank you very much for attending this webinar. We're really pleased to be able to announce the very first apps for Microsoft Dynamics AX, which is online apps, and obviously based on a Microsoft Surface or a Windows 8 device. Brief agenda for today, we'd just like to talk to you a little bit about eBECS. We're going to have some slides with an overview of how we've designed it and some of the key functionality that we've built into the apps. And of course, then we're going to show everyone a working demonstration of the app in action. We'll have some time at the end for questions and answers. So let's crack on. So, a little bit about eBECS. We are the experts in Microsoft Dynamics AX and CRM. We've been in business since 1999, and we focus exclusively on those two Dynamics solutions. In terms of vertical markets that we have a lot of experience and expertise in, it's around manufacturing, distribution, CCM, which is really call center management, and also the services industry, which in Dynamics AX speak is all about projects. We employ around 200 people around the world. With our main office in England, we've got a big office in North America and also in the Middle East. The services we provide range from sales, implementation, of course, the ongoing support of your Dynamics AX and CRM solutions. And we also have a specialized offshore development division in Jordan, which really focuses on how we can extend the solutions in Dynamics to meet the needs of our customers. One thing which we're really proud of is the original Lean modules for Dynamics AX were actually developed by eBECS. We provided those to Microsoft, and as part of that, we really embrace the whole Lean manufacturing concepts and really look at ourselves as a thought leader within the AX community for Lean thinking. A couple of awards that we've got. So we are the 2012 Microsoft Dynamics Resale of the Year for the United Kingdom, and we're also the 2010 Partner of the Year. We're in the 2012 Inner Circle and President's Club, and we have our Gold Microsoft Partner certifications, not just in ERP, which is AX, and also CRM, but also in Business Intelligence. We've gone and got external certification through the AMR research program, and that's industry certification around discrete manufacturing and professional services. So I'd just now like to start with an overview of what we've done with the apps. So what we've done with the apps is we've designed them to be an extensible framework for building apps within Windows 8 and Windows 8 RT. That means that we have the ability to work online and offline within the app. And what we're trying to do is to reflect the company and user context, which means when you log into the app, you'll see information relevant to yourselves. And we've also adopted the standard app features that Microsoft has provided, such as gestures and search. We'll be providing the app from the Microsoft App Store, so it can be downloaded in the same way that a user might download a game such as Angry Birds. What we've built in the background is the full synchronization capability, and that's the area where you need to come to eBECS to get that bit of functionality to complete the solution. So what does the architecture look like? What we have on the right-hand side of the screen is the actual app itself, and that'll sit on your Windows 8 or Windows 8 RT device. Sitting behind that, we've got a SQLite database, and we've built a web service which allows us to synchronize between your AX system and the staging database to provide your online and offline synchronization. So the SQLite database enables data which is relevant to that user to be stored on the actual machine that they're using. And this is all available from the App Store. The app itself is also available with that, and they work together to provide the user with an experience that they can have anywhere they are. Taking advantage of the web service functionality in Dynamics AX, we actually have the functionality written to allow the insert and update of Dynamics AX data back to the Windows 8 app. The web service will also manage the synchronization of data so that when the user comes back online, they can submit information back to their base Dynamics AX system, as well as retrieve new information that might be relevant to them. There's a staging database that sits in there, and that actually contains a full synchronization history of all data that's being sent backwards and forwards between the app and Dynamics AX. This means that users can go in and interrogate information that's being pushed backwards and forwards. And finally, Dynamics AX holds all the relevant business logic as well as the master data and provides the rules around whether information can be created, updated or deleted. It also pushes back any transactions such as sales orders that might need to be synchronized back into the application itself. So we'll just start off with a quick screenshot. We've chosen a blue color theme and you can see there that we've used the Windows 8 tile structure to allow users to find access information that they need. The tiling structure and grouping allows for people to navigate relatively easily around the system, as well as using some of the scroll and swiping functions inherent in Windows 8. If you've got a Windows Surface machine or similar which has a gyroscope built in, that allows you to flip your screen around, and we've ensured that that functionality is also built into the application. And we've used the contextual search functionality that's built into Windows 8. So this allows you to search for information such as customers, suppliers, timesheets and orders, and bring those results back on the screen for you to select the record you need to see. One of the features of Windows 8 which many people may not know about is the snap feature. This means you can actually snap the application onto the side of your screen while continuing to work on other applications such as browsing the internet or working on Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. So that snap feature means it sits there and you can access that at any time alongside the other work that you're doing. We've got built-in camera integration, so if your Windows 8 device has a camera, you can use that to capture images such as expenses, and I'll be showing that a little bit later in the demonstration. On the back end, we've got a full synchronization and management service, and this is where all the hardware is gone in. So what we've built is the ability to generate the web services with the schema validations that will allow data to be passed backwards and forwards, as well as a full queuing and management service to actually analyze and take action on any data that may or may not have been synchronized correctly. So what we've built is an out-of-the-box set of applications, which is actually built on the Windows framework, which means that we can easily and rapidly extend the out-of-the-box functionality that we're providing. So we'll start and have a look at accounts receivable. We've got the ability to inquire on customer records, as well as edit records and create new customer records. We also have the ability to view existing sales orders. On accounts payable, we have the ability to edit and create supplier records, as well as view existing purchase orders. We've got an expense app built into the system, and that allows employees to create and submit expenses. So they can also edit expenses that they've already submitted and may have been returned back. The details of the expenses are saved locally. When they are submitted back through the synchronization engine, they'll automatically be subjected to your Dynamics AX workflow approvals, and it also allows the user to view any previously submitted, approved, returned, or transferred expense claims. Employees can also use the app to record and enter their timesheets. It's the ability to inquire, create, and edit timesheets, save those timesheets locally, and then when you're next online, you can submit those back to Dynamics AX. Again, much in line with what we've done with the expenses, we use standard Dynamics AX workflow approvals to allow that information to be sent back and approved and returned back to the employee if required. And finally, we've also built in the ability to approve workflows. So if the user with the Windows 8 app is required to approve a workflow or reject a workflow, and actually have the ability to view that information inside the app and take the appropriate action. What I'd like to do now is launch my Windows 8 app and just take you through a couple of the features that we've built into the application. So if I go to my desktop on Windows 8, I've got a tiled icon on my desktop, which is my eBECS apps for Windows Dynamics AX, and I click on that and I get my login screen. The login screen is designed to work with the security features inside your Dynamics AX system to ensure that people who aren't authorized to access AX have access to the information in the system. By pressing the login button, I can see here that I'm in what I class as my home page, and I can see I've got my accounts receivable and payables apps, and my expenses and timesheets. If I swipe across the screen, I can see that I can move across to the right-hand side and see some of the other apps that are built in there, my timesheets, workflows and settings. Scrolling back to the left, I'm going to have a look at my customers now. So I simply click on the customers app, and I can see that I've got a list here of my customers ordered in alphabetical order. If I swipe along, I can scroll through the whole list of my customers, and I can go and find the customer information that I'm after. Alternatively, I can use the built-in search functionality of Windows 8 to actually do a contextual search within the app for the customer that I'm after. So if I use my search function and do a search for the word wholesale, it'll bring back all the customers with the word wholesale in their customer name. On this screen here I can see that I've got 12 customers that meet that criteria, and if I scroll along I can also see that it breaks it down into the name of the customer. So I've got one customer whose name starts with C and one customer whose name starts with D. So if I want to have a look at that customer, I simply click on customers with C, and I can see that Cave Wholesale has come back. To go back and have a look at all my customers, I simply click on all, and a list of all my customers comes back to me. To go and view a customer record, I simply click on or press on the icon, and I can see here that we've brought up information about Sunset Wholesales. So out of the box we've got information such as the account number, bank account, currency and delivery terms. As I said before, to actually extend that information out to include any other information that you might like is very straightforward and very quick to achieve. I can use the navigation buttons that are built into Windows 8 to go back to where I started from. So if I click the back arrow here, it takes me back to my list of all customers. And by clicking back again, I'm back to my entire customer list, which is unfiltered. If I want to go and add a customer, I can use the charms, and I can go and press add. And here I can now add a new customer and submit that back into my core finance system to allow my sales ledger approval process to take place. Any fields that we class as mandatory have a red asterisk next to them. And to enter a new customer, all I need to do is start typing their name, so Acme Trading, and then when I get down to some of the fields that in Dynamics AX Client we would normally have as a drop-down option, you can see here that I've got drop-down options for those which directly reflect those that I've set up in my Dynamics AX system. So I can scroll down and I can find the currency that I'm after. I can choose a customer group. I can choose my delivery mode and also my delivery terms. When I'm done entering this information, I again use my charms and I press the send button. What the send button will do is will store that data about the new customer in my local SQLite database, and the next time I go and synchronize and upload data back to my AX system, this will actually send that through. Navigating back to my main area on the app, I've also wanted to show you the expenses functionality that we've built, and I can do that by clicking on expenses. So what we've done inside the app is we've created a series of views. So those views reflect some of the different statuses that an expense claim might have in Dynamics AX, such as submitted, approved. If I swipe across, I've got my returned and ready expenses. Going back here, I can see I've got an area where I can create an expense, or I can simply again use my charms and press the Add button. In my app, I can enter the transaction date. I can select the expense type. Let's say we had some entertainment. How did I pay for it? Again, these are all the options that I've set up inside my Dynamics AX system. In this case, I paid by credit card. How much do I spend on entertainment? Probably too much. And again, I can choose the currency that I expensed that in. So again, we'll go down and choose the rand. Now, if your Windows 8 device has an integrated camera, we've actually enabled the ability to take an image and use that to attach a picture of the expense claim onto your expense. I do that again by clicking the charms, and if you can see down the bottom of my screen, I've got an option here called Photo. By clicking on Photo, it'll enable the camera on my computer, and all I need to do is click on that, and it's taken a photo. I can size the image up to exactly where I want it to be. Press OK. And when I'm happy that I've actually gone and submitted the amount of information I need to claim my expense, again, I use the charms and I can send that through. If I again go to my navigation, we've got some settings. And what we've done is we've set up some settings around the application. So these are the settings that we use to actually read the AX web services, and we can also set a default company ID for a particular user. So that was a brief demonstration of the apps that we've developed. We are running a competition, and that competition is give us your ideas. We're really keen to hear about ideas that you might have for a new app that we can build for Dynamics AX. And the prize for that is to win a Microsoft Surface device. So what we'd like to do is to hear from you, and if you can email your suggestions to swilson@ebecs.com, we'll perform a draw at the Convergence conference and announce the winner shortly afterwards. At this point, I'd like to hand over to Mike Hull from eBECS US to complete the webinar.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks very much for attending. Really appreciate your interest. And what we'd like to do is to follow up with you and just determine what your interest may be, just have a one-to-one discussion, maybe do a little discovery with you on what you see as the application for the AX apps. The only way we can do that, though, is that you would need to give us a call. The privacy rules inside of AXUG are such that you would need to contact us. So you have an address, or excuse me, an email address for both Stephen Wilson and James Gilmer there, one for North America, one for the UK, so you know where you are. If you'd be interested in talking with us, please contact one of those two people. Can we go to the next slide? We will also be at Convergence. We're in booth 2057, so if you'd like to discuss this further, please stop by the booth. We can talk about that there. Two of our customers will also be at Convergence, and I believe JJ Food Services will be receiving an Innovation Award, and Aston Martin will also be there. Stephen, if you want to talk about that a little bit, you can just jump right in. But the last thing that I wanted to talk about was that on Tuesday night, we'll be having a lean extensions demonstration. So eBECS, as Ross said earlier is known for our work inside of creating the lean process support inside of AX. Microsoft purchased that from us back in version 2009, maybe even version 4, and we've actually continued to develop additional extensions for 2012. So there's native process support inside of AX 2012, but we have additional extensions beyond that. And the Hampton Inn, directly across from the Convergence Center, or Conference Center, on Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, we'll be giving a demo there. You can stop by our booth at 2057 in the Expo Hall and pick up some information on that. And that's pretty much all I have for you at this point. So let me thank you again for attending. Thank you for your interest. And obviously give us a call or drop us an email if this is of interest to you. Frank, we'll pass it over to you now.
Open up for questions. Question from Andrew. Are the apps ready for AX 2012 R2?
Yes.
Good question. Just a straight yes answer. That's all that's required there. If they're ready for AX 2012 R2, then I assume that means they work for AX 2012. Non-R2 as well, the different versions of it out there. Excellent. I'll ask you a question, and Mike knows this from we've done webinars for a long time. How does eBECS, especially the development of these apps working with AX, stay on top of the latest release of the code from Microsoft, R2 being a good example that there's new versions of software comes out every 18, 24 months, and there's old days there were service packs and there was roll-ups, there's CUs, what have you. Explain to the folks on the phone, Mike, Ross, or Stephen, the process eBECS follows to make sure that whatever apps you have developed will continue to work with the future versions of code, or Microsoft releases new code, what you do to try to stay on top of that to maybe develop further applications to work with as well.
Thanks, Frank. I think I'll let Stephen Wilson field that one. Stephen's one of the principals of eBECS, and he's in charge of marketing as well, but he's been with the company forever. Stephen, why don't you make some comments on that?
Yeah, so in answer to your question, how are we keeping up with the advances of the Microsoft software? Fundamentally, eBECS takes an active part in the relationships at the various levels inside Microsoft and works on the early adopter programs to gain the visibility required to synchronize our development processes with Microsoft as timelessly as possible. And it's that relationship that eBECS has is fundamental in us being able to, for want of a better way of putting it, keep up. We have a number of customers. I think we've got over 140 AX customers in the UK, the US, and other parts of the world. And a number of those customers are working within the TAP program, which again helps our development teams in Jordan and the UK and our consultants stay on top of the advances in the technology. So we try and hear about it the day after Microsoft, and we appreciate the relationship we have with Microsoft that provides the platform to be able to do that. I think the education that eBECS received when it sold its intellectual property in the area of lean enterprise to Microsoft provided us with a really good understanding of how to strategize our development processes. Certainly from a quality and from a QA perspective in line with Microsoft. So we learned at a very, very, very fundamental level how Microsoft developed, documented, tested, and we've utilized the majority of those methodologies inside our development teams that work across the US, Middle East, and the UK. So fundamentally, it's relationship. Does that answer your question, Frank?
All righty. Let me see from a questions perspective. Another one came in the queue. Again, remind me the question in the questions queue. A couple folks have been doing. Let's talk about the licensing around around the product, how it's licensed per site, per named users. How does that work? Is it separate from AX licensing model? Stephen, Ross, or Mike want to answer that?
Steve, would you like me to answer that?
Yeah, I didn't hear that question very well. Sorry.
It was around the structure of the licensing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we mute a couple of the lines there. Stephen, it was around licensing, and specifically how you're licensing these apps. Is it at a user count perspective? Is it similar to AX licensing? How are you guys handling that?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ross. Yep.
So basically, we're giving the app away for free. But I won't leave it there. What we are going to be doing is we're going to be charging for the interface that we've built, and really that was where most of the intellectual property and effort from our end went into. So with the app, it's essentially going to be open source, which means if you want to redesign the app or make some changes to it, and end users with technical capabilities can do that. From a licensing perspective, then we'll be charging for the back end and the interface between the app and Dynamics AX.
Ross, this is Mike. Could you elaborate a little bit on the contest in terms of somebody submits an app idea to us and we select that, let's say, as the best idea? What exactly are we going to do in developing that app for the person, and in context of what you just said, what exactly do they actually license from us?
Okay, so they'll license the back end, and what we'll also do for the winner of the competition is we'll actually work with them to develop the actual app itself, and we'll do that free of charge. So while we have yet to announce the actual pricing, the pricing will be for the back end and the connector only. And as I said before, we'll work with that customer to help build the app and work with the back end connector back into their AX system.
Thanks, Russ.
I think, Frank, have we got any more questions, or are we calling that a wrap or an app?
Sorry, guys, I was muted there. I muted my phone. I didn't unmute it, so I go to it. I got a question from Andrew, noting that his company would be interested in working with eBECS, developing something on the shop floor control side. So I think certainly, Andrew, please follow up with the guys directly. You see their names on the screen there, the email addresses, so you can work with them directly on your ideas about shop floor control and how you might want to work with eBECS on that.
Okay, we'll look forward to talking to you outside of this webinar, Andrew.
Yeah.
My email address is swilson@ebecs.com, as you can see on the slide.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Let's see. One last chance to see if there's any other questions out there. Andrew says he's sending an email now. Excellent. Thank you, Andrew, for typing in the queue there. All righty. Well, with no further questions, I want to thank the team from eBECS, as always, for being a great Access premium partner. Mike and I have worked for a long time. User group activities, always appreciate him supporting the group, and Ross has worked with us as well. He was speaking at our Access UK chapter last September, and certainly Stephen's worked with us as well over the years. So it's always great to have the team from eBECS with us. I would encourage you, those of you that are going to New Orleans for Convergence, stop by and see the eBECS team. Why don't we go ahead and move your slide forward one more time and show folks where you're going to be at Convergence there, guys. Booth 2057. And I'll unmute Stephen and Ross's lines there one last time. Any closing thoughts, guys, before we wrap up? All righty. Okay, good.
Thanks very much, Frank, and thank you, everybody, for attending and your interest. We'll see you down in New Orleans.